Hello. Để mình đi làm Honkai đã. Mấy bữa nay không chạy nhiệm vụ Honkai à. Cốt truyện xong rồi chúng ta sẽ đi mọi về miền truyện.
Unnecessary. Eternal sleep and return.
You took the bait. Time for love.
A blade knows no mercy. Your end approaches. That paradise may savor it for me.
Thôi game chết rồi. Chị chơi cho xong.
Don't mess with me.
Mình còn chưa đi mò map của bên Honkai mà. Mình chưa đi mò map của cái bên Charivo 7 xong rồi cái map của con Silly. Đấy đó mình còn chưa đi mò mà. Trời.
Don't get complacent.
Hồi năng lượng chưa cần á. Ô mẹ bấm là xài rồi à. Ý mẹ.
That paradise may savor it for me. Receive divinity.
Đâu đâu cha là của dân tử á. Mình đợi đó mình cũng muốn lấy lô cha lắm mà mình lật ra con chi á. Con bay mình muốn lấy lô cha lắm á. Cha đi chung với anh cha thấy mạnh quá mà.
Next, disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
You chose your end approaches.
Nó thật sự quần què nó mạnh ra đánh hai ba phát là không. Ôi sói bạc thì top 5 đã chết nữa rồi. Đánh 2 phát một sói bạc bật ngửa luôn. Sói bạc mình cũng build rồi trời. 2k6 máu build bằng silly chứ bộ.
Eternal sleep is the dead return! You impede me. The fight is set. Receive divinity. Unnecessary. Repay.
Đấy, người bắn phát rồi cái máu mình rồi. Kéo gì đấy?
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
I'll see you off. That paradise, savor it for me.
Hai ca máu với đồ tử lắm mà. Chắc mình view tới, đâu có kiểu view bỏ đại đồ mà mình view mình sao mình còn không úp thánh đi giật nữa cơ. Mình không úp cái gì giật nữa cơ, mình úp kiểu úp cho xong á. Mỗi cái cộng 7 cộng 8 á, cái cộng 7 cộng 8. Nhưng là game cũng không phải game chính á. Game như kiểu lâu lâu ngứa tay gacha hết Genshin hết cái gacha qua đây gacha.
You chose the dead return!
Con tin dương của mình cũng 2k8 sau một tuần mà.
Savor it for me.
À tin dương của bạn E6 rồi đúng không? Tin dương E6 build không build thì hơi phí nha.
Repay.
E6 không build thì phí.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
Mới được E2 theo á. Nên nó còn yếu lắm. Không có được đã.
This is double speed.
Your end approaches.
Được cái anh Gebat E1. Được cái anh Gebat E1. Cái này sao ta? Cái này. À cái đi cày thánh di vật đúng không? Mà cái việc chọn ngại đi cày thánh di vật đây luôn á. Kiểu thánh di vật nó không có gì ta, nó không có dễ nhớ. Ấy là mà cảm thấy làm sao nó không dễ nhớ làm sao, như là bên Genshin nó kiểu nó còn dễ nhớ, nó dễ đa dụng nha. Giống như có mấy bộ của hệ quả nạp nè, build một lần là build được luôn, còn có mấy không có mấy cái bộ đó kiểu cho chuyên cho support á. Hoặc là do mình không thích chơi á, chơi cho kiểu cho có mùi cho cha, chơi cái này cho có mùi cha cha chứ mình chơi là không vì mục đích để chưa bao giờ đi cày cái gì đây, cày cái tặng đường lãng quên á, la hoàng của bên này nè, gọi là la hoàng. Vũ trụ mô phỏng tuần này chưa đi luôn, kiểu đúng vô game để xả nhựa xong rồi nói gì điêu đấy. Xong rồi mấy cái sự kiện bên này nó cũng dài đúng không? Tao không biết sao nó dài Genshin lắm nha. nó dài kinh khủng khiếp luôn á. Như cái sự kiện này nè, một cái tầng này phải đi 2 lần là tao chơi xong cái này là tao phải đi lại lần nữa tao mới được hoàn thành full cái sự full cái của cái mà có 5 tầng vậy tao phải đi 10 lần. Và đá thì trong khi Genshin á ít nhất là cùng lắm chỉ có 7 cái thôi, 7 hoặc 8 cái thôi, mỗi cái 60 nguyên thạch. Đúng á, cái vụ mùi trong phòng mình kiểu mình cũng đi kiểu hên xui nữa. Bên này sự kiện dài nó bà, cái này là mình đang đi vậy là mất tốn thời gian đúng không? Tí nữa phải đi lại một lần nữa của cái này mới được nhận được full của cái tầng này, nhận được full cái tầng này. Mà mình có 5 tầng như vậy là mình phải đi 10 lần. Mà bên Genshin nó đâu đến nỗi, bên Genshin là cùng lắm là 4 lần thì chỉ có 7 mục đúng không? Là một mục được 60 viên thạch, 6742 là chúng ta được cộng lại là 420 viên thạch. Cái này đéo, cái này mẹ đi đúng dài luôn, tiếc thì để sao? Mà nó cũng phải là sự kiện lớn nhất của phiên bản nữa. Có phải sự kiện lớn nhất không ta? Không biết đó. Nhưng mà cảm thấy nó cứ khó thế nào á, nó cứ kiểu nhây nhây á. Không ưa đâu. Đi dài vãi, đi 5 mà một phòng này là có 8 tầng. Mà phải đi hết 8 tầng xong rồi đi xong rồi phải đánh lại lần nữa. Hình như đây cũng không phải sự kiện lớn nhất, sự kiện lớn nhất của bạn này là cái gì ta? Dài mà tức cái sự kiện này ra lâu rồi, ra từ cái hồi con cáp ca. Con cáp ca ban đầu, cái ca bắt đầu là có sự kiện này nè, nhưng mà rồi đi cùng cái chàng đó rồi đi để nó mình tính lại ngày cuối cùng đi, cuối cùng nay cũng đi luôn.
Your end approaches.
Đi luôn thì cho mình Genshin, cho mình đi cho một lần luôn, cho mình cảm thấy mình chơi nó vui. Ôi mất rồi, mất heo đất rồi. Phải chưa? Tìm thấy kẻ địch có năng lực từ kho báu vàng. Mệt quá, đọc mấy cái này mệt quá.
Don't get complacent.
Bảo tàng đi mẹ. Cái sự kiện bảo tàng, mình đúng là cái sự kiện bảo tàng là cái sự kiện lớn nhất đúng không? Nhưng mà nó là một cái gì đó mà kiểu làm rất là lâu á. Đôi khi Genshin là một cái game mà kiểu không đánh theo luật, đánh theo kiểu open world nha, mà kiểu chơi rất là nhanh. Mấy cái trò chơi của nó chơi rất nhanh luôn á. Là phiên bản vừa rồi có cái map thì mình phải cày thôi, chứ không chứ tính ra mấy cái sự kiểu đi rất nhanh luôn. Bay lượn á, bay lượn điều khiển đúng dễ luôn, cứ bay nha thôi là xong rồi. Có một cái trò chơi đúng vậy nữa, còn cái bảo tàng cũng mệt luôn á. Hồi xưa Genshin cũng có một cái sự kiện như là sự kiện bán hàng á. Nhớ có sự kiện bán hàng nó đi chung với cái nhiều cái khác nữa, nhưng mà cái đó nó không đến nỗi khó quá, tôi không não cũng được. Có não không? Bên này cái gì cũng có não đấy, bên này chơi cái quên gì mà bút nữa, xong rồi dựa vào mấy cái hệ yếu tố nên là mình lười xài não, đánh cho vui thôi, cho có gacha. Nó hay tối mình làm nên bây giờ mình lười quá. Cái sự việc bảo tàng mình công nhận là đúng là mất thời gian thật sự á, mình chơi cái đó mất thời gian luôn á. Mình kiểu mình chơi xong rồi mình phải hoài xong không hết nữa. Đấy, hết từ cái này đến cái khác mà hoài cũng hết. Ý là nó có thể nó làm cái sự nó dài cho người chơi, muốn ra là chơi cho lâu nhưng mà nó đủ vừa thôi, cho người ta còn làm việc khác nữa.
Savor it for me. Receive divinity.
Như cái sự kiện này cũng vậy nè, dài quá, đánh nhiều lượt quá, đánh nhiều lượt nhiều tầng xong rồi mà đánh lại một lần nữa chứ. Mình còn 2 tầng nữa luôn á, mà mình phải đánh là 4 lần, mà 2 tầng, mỗi phòng là 8 tầng. Đấy, đánh khùng rè đi luôn. Cái bột què. vật. Thêm nhân vật. Đọc cuối này. Thôi, chắc để tối chơi. Còn đéo chơi luôn á. Kệ con mẹ luôn trời. Mình vẫn thích theo kiểu anh em RPG open em thấy mấy mở hoặc là turn bay như kiểu Final Fantasy hồi xưa á.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
Turn bay theo kiểu như Final Fantasy hồi xưa.
This is double speed. Who's next?
Repay. The dead return.
Thích chơi game thế giới mở nhưng vui lòng mở mới vùng đất mới là sao? Đi trong sa mạc đó hả? Mình thấy cái map sa mạc vẫn hay mà. Chỉ là ở trên sa mạc không có gì nhưng mà xuống dưới sa mạc nóng hồng. Lúc đầu mình chạy map mình cũng thấy hơi oải nhưng mà content nó cũng ok. Cái map sa mạc content ok. Mình mở game rồi chứ, mở game rồi chứ. Chạy xong, mình chạy xong. Ngày rồi. Qua đi làm nhiệm vụ thôi.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
The dead return.
Tính ra Sumeru mới tí à. Sumeru có một khúc của cái bên kia là trong sa mạc rộng.
This is double speed.
Trời gì mạnh quá trời.
Receive divinity.
Má con bán đầy máu. Má lô trang một cách đầy cái máu cho nó sẽ bạc không?
Savor it for me.
Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past. Who's next?
Sao à? Sao đừng có tăng? Nè, cái kho báu nè, kho báu nó xà nó là đi một lần xong rồi được dạy rồi đúng không? Cái đi lần nữa thì mới được thêm lần nữa. Sự kiện lớn nhất á, sự kiện lớn nhất á, sự kiện này sự kiện lớn nhất á. 80 là cái sự kiện lớn nhất á. Nhưng mà đi nó cứ kiểu bị déjà vu ấy. Rồi còn đi thêm một lần nữa nè. Mắc mệt đâu, còn tầng 5 nữa nè. Mấy ngày nữa là hết. 10 ngày lận mà. Từ đi. Nhiệm vụ gì nè. Vượt ải tầng 5. Hôm qua mình xem lại khúc nó bị ảnh chứng các thứ điên cùng. Nó bị đa nhân cách. Con quên kể bạn con thủy thần nó bị đa nhân cách. Con thủy thần nó bị đa nhân
Book
cách.
learning alone is not enough to cultivate.
Add as. Thank you for.
Đi đá cho đang phen. Đá cho đang phen à. giờ mình sẽ làm nhiệm vụ trực tuyến tiếp đi ha. Nó hơi láo nhưng nó cũng hề á, cảm thấy nó cũng hề hước á, nhưng mà ta chưa thấy sự uy nghiêm của nó trong vị thần. Giống như là 4 vị thần trước, mỗi vị thần đều có một cách uy nghiêm riêng, giống như ngay cả con thảo thần nó bé bé vậy nhưng mà nó vẫn có một cách uy nghiêm riêng nha. Nên ta chưa cảm thấy được nó được. Con đó ta vẫn
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People at Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Quá giàu vậy.
Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food.
Mấy khúc này trong cốt truyện cũng hơi dài.
Do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Không biết người thủ phạm đứng sau thiếu nữ mất tích hàng loạt là ai.
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking. We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability. It's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist, to seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
Kế hoạch tiếp theo đi nghe tin tức.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended.
I see. So, your primary objective,
tao vẫn chưa hiểu
which
tại
has
sao
been
tụi nó đến
foiled
đây
so
tìm thủy thần
far,
rồi nói chuyện gì ta?
was to have a chat with the
Tụi nó muốn nói chuyện gì nhỉ?
Hydro-Archon.
Hay tao quên cái gì không? Tao có quên gì không?
I've heard that there's a
Muốn nói chuyện
long
gì
line
nhỉ?
of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a
Vẫn
while.
chưa rõ mục đích là
considering
tụi này
that
đến
you
đây
missed your
cái là
chance
muốn gặp
today.
thủy thần liền thì phải có mục đích là gặp thủy thần để làm gì chứ? Giống như đợt đó là mình đợt mình qua A á, mình gặp A là bởi vì là cái vụ phong tỏa Vision, mình muốn giải cứu cho tụi Thoma với lại bên nhà Ayaka này kia xong cái mình mới gặp A, xong rồi muốn giải quyết với nó này nọ thì mình có mục đích mình gặp nó, chứ lúc đầu mình đâu có mục đích mình gặp nó đâu.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super
Con Thảo
popular
Tần cũng
here
vậy
in
là mình
Fontaine, and that it'll be tough
hỏi về
getting
tung tích
any of her
Lumine.
time.
Ủa sao lúc nào cũng vậy thôi à? Giống như Thảo Tần, tao nhớ là mình đâu có đi gặp nó để hỏi đâu. Thảo Tần là mình gặp cái con kia đầu tiên, xong rồi biết nó bị bệnh xong rồi mới gặp được Thảo Tần, xong rồi Thảo Tần mới chỉ cách để chữa bệnh cho con đó.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of...
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play. Don't you think?
Cô ta sẽ để xem hết vở diễn.
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Xong rồi con Thảo Tần nó cũng kêu mình đi qua đó, đi qua đây, đi qua Fontaine. Mày tính là kịch bản nó lặp đi lặp lại á.
Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions.
Mỗi cái được thêm một tí, nhưng mà kiểu không có cái nào nó có một cái manh mối kiểu nhiều á. Chờ đến nửa đêm đến coi.
I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire. All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that...
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
Bây giờ đi tìm thủy thần lúc đang nghỉ ngơi, vậy thì cô ấy cũng sẽ thấy ngại nếu từ chối tiếp chúng ta sao?
Why don't we give it a try?
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my font?
Was this your drink?
Paimon nó tham ăn.
Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon.
No, it's fine.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Mẹ uống hết cái ly của ta xong kêu mặn sao ấy, không ngon tí nào.
Is that so? Huh. Well, if we're all finished eating, then I'll go pet.
Yeah, we're stuck.
Forena nó không được uy tín. Tao còn thấy nó không uy tín lắm.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
Tao nghĩ Hòa Thần là một tính cách kiểu cọc cằn đấy mày.
Nah, that would be so...
Okay. As for expenses this month,
Rồi nghèo rồi.
left
Đại vừa ăn xong nghèo rồi.
Hey, Navia, what are you doing?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to try to meet...
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the in any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you
Con này
again,
hết tiền rồi,
partner.
mình ăn hết tiền con này rồi. Biết đâu còn nhân cách thứ ba à? Như làn mưa nhẹ không rõ nguyên nhân. Phần mới rồi. Trên đây có cái địa chuyển nào không đây? Đồ. Ủa làm sao xuống đây ta? tụi làm sao xuống đây ta? Thang máy hả? Lái kìa. Thôi cái này là nhiệm vụ trước đã.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Aranias might have been the last one.
Là phun nước đẹp. Không phải là phun nước đẹp.
Vache.
Mà lại nghe tiếng nói nữa kìa. Biết chưa?
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you here? Ugh. That's kinda spooky.
Hay là buổi sáng chúng ta quay
Are
lại
you
nghe
sure
chứ?
Vache. Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something. Huh? Hang on. Paimon can
Ủa,
kind
nó
of hear
gọi
a
bao giờ
voice.
kìa, con Paimon cũng nghe kìa.
Calling for. Hey, traveler, stop walking. Come on, wake up.
Là một chuyện tin mới rồi. Đợi đến được cái này phải không? Có tên lên nước trong à?
Vache. Are you my dear No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know
Không quen đây
I'm...
chờ.
Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I
Thiếu nữa
do
mất tích
not
à?
know.
Không đâu. Tao nghĩ không đâu.
My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since? Yes, that is
Ủa,
what
từng
I
là con
was
người kìa.
once.
Giờ đây chỉ
But
còn ý
now,
thức của một con người mất đi
I
hình
am but
thể.
I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being
Nói
covered
là
in
tôi bị
light
một
blue
loại nước.
water.
À kìa, đúng rồi kìa.
And it all grew
Một
dim.
loại nước có màu lam nhạt bao bọc. Rồi mọi thứ trước mắt trở nên mơ hồ. Và tao nghĩ là con này cũng bị tan nước nè.
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved no matter where I went, Vache would go with me.
Chỉ biết là và
I
chơi ở
knew
lại
how
thôi. Tôi
dearly
yêu
he
anh.
loved me.
Tôi biết
And
anh ấy
I
yêu
also
tôi
loved
cũng
him.
yêu anh ấy.
But
Ok.
now, we can no longer go back.
Vậy là cô muốn tôi tìm về chứ?
No, our reunion no longer has any meaning.
Chúng tôi đã không
There is
thể
no
tạo ra
way
những
for
hồi
us
ức
to
mới nữa.
create any
Chưa
new
hiểu lắm.
memories.
Phút này chưa hiểu lắm.
The thought of me gives him no
Sự
succor.
nhớ nhung của tôi là điều vô vân.
So let it lie
Hãy
forgotten
cứ để lại
beneath the
cảm xúc này mãi
waters.
mãi dừng lại dưới nước đi.
If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me.
Nếu gặp được bà Chay
Tell
đừng
him
kêu
to
anh ấy tìm
move
tôi nữa.
on. That is the only thing I still remember.
Sao xén xúa thế nhở?
Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vache above the surface.
Vậy là con này cũng là một
His
thiếu
eyes
nữ
were
mất tích
filled
rồi.
with such sorrow,
Tôi nhìn thấy bây giờ.
such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed,
Tôi không hề đau đớn, thậm chí
I
cảm
had
thấy ấm
felt a
áp.
great warmth.
Vậy là Vây là người chứng kiến lúc mà con này bị hòa tan. Con này bị
Is
hòa
that
tan
what
nước.
you call it? Dissolving.
Giải thoát. What
If
the fuck?
anything, it was a state of neither
Cảm thấy giải
fear nor
thoát.
frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think.
Tại mình nó gọi mình kìa.
Farewell then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence.
Rồi ok, giờ đi tìm bà Chay nè. Cái gì vậy? Cái gì vậy? Cái gì đùng 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 vậy? Ồ phát cái gì vậy? Ba cái gì mới ngủ có giấc mà đánh nhau? Fuck. Người ta biết nói chuyện gì xảy ra không? cứ làm như tao ngủ với người năng không tỉnh lại thì quốc chiến đấu chiến tranh rồi. Nào đông quá nha, hơi đông rồi đó.
God, it's a whole army of Gardamex.
Sao lại nhiều robot hiến binh vậy ta? Ở đâu? Để đến bắt mình à?
Clorand?
Green đây. Ủa? Là con nói phe mình hay là phe kia vậy? Ôi ngầu quá chị ơi. Ôi trời ơi. Ngầu đen đẹp luôn kìa. Ôi cặp giò.
Quick, now's our chance.
À con này xài nhung kiếm, con kia xài kim đơn. Con này xài kim. Ôi trời ơi, ngầu đẹp đẹp. Bắn ra đó. Có súng à? Nhà ta nhớ cách liên đấy nhỉ? Cách liên hay biết phong tu gì đấy? Cầm súng bắn. Rồi nhà lữ hành làm gì vậy? Spotlight là nhà lữ hành mà. Má, chị Lôi vẫn đẹp hơn đó, chị Lôi ngực bự quá nha. Chị Lôi bị hở áo kìa, cài áo lại.
I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
Ủa đáng ra mình nên đặt câu hỏi là tại sao mà đánh nhau chứ, tại sao lại con này đi hỏi trước là con này đến đây ta? Giờ phải bắt đầu là tại sao mấy con robot đã đánh mình chứ.
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
Rồi, con Corondin này là yêu con kia rồi. Con này, hai con này yêu con kia, con Lôi yêu con
I believe
em.
that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking.
Đi
Is it
theo
not?
để bảo vệ. Ôi trời ơi.
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same were he alive today.
Callas là ai ta?
Do not speak
À,
of
Callas
my
là cha
father.
con này.
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional...
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Trời ơi má, nhìn cái ngoại hình nè, đẹp vãi. Thiệt, nhìn cái ngoại hình đẹp vãi.
Whatever. What else do you know?
Con này
How
thì
did
ngoại
you
hình
come
tiểu
to the
thư,
conclusion
con
that
này
I'd
ngoại
be in
hình tiểu
grave
thư, còn con kia
danger?
ngoại hình kiểu ngầu. Không phải ngầu
doubt
mà
I know
kiểu
much
nó
more
cứ
than you.
sexy thế nào ấy.
But I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful.
Có thế lực rất hùng
Your
hậu. À?
performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
À, chị bắt đến rồi.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me.
Mẹ mới buổi sáng xong tòa thì buổi tối tụi nó đánh nhau, là mẹ kêu là đến tận bây giờ.
And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the
không có
authorities
số
to
hiệu.
enforce the law.
Nên là không phải từ sẵn chấp pháp.
I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
Tao nghĩ là con Corende này thích con nham ấy. Kiểu tao
I
đi theo
will
bảo vệ ấy.
continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorand. But if you get any ideas, tell me
Tao không thích
first.
bị theo dõi thấy
I
chưa?
don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Dạ, chị đi
Right.
ấy quá nha.
I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you. If we tried,
con
we
cô này
could
là thật
attempt
lòng.
to thaw
Tao nghĩ là thật lòng.
relations.
I know, I just... She's...
Vì sao cô ấy cũng là gì? Cũng là gì? Là gì? Là gì? Người đó là gì? Người yêu hả?
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for!
Chị em.
Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and our gang saved us!
Tao nghĩ không phải chị em thì đã không xưng hô như vậy rồi. Bởi vì nếu mà cha mà, đúng không? Tao nghĩ là người đó là.
Oh, and there was that champion
yêu cũ.
duelist named Chlorine who came out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Thật ra Paimon tính cầm ở trong lịch
Oh,
chiến.
come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there.
Thì anh
Not for me
chưa chia tay
anyway.
được rồi.
As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill.
All right, you two. That's enough.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Đúng. Sao nó xuất hiện đúng
Well,
lúc vậy?
to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Bây giờ có Paimon.
Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Cool, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
Uống nhầm thuốc của tôi.
How
Sao?
did...
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky.
À,
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted salt?
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
đủ cái 2 ly nước đó là để đầu con này nè. Nhưng mà bởi vì con Paimon và người lữ hành lỡ uống mất nên là nó không bị tan chảy, chứ không con này mà uống vào là con này chết rồi.
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Vài cái cức thiệt.
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Huh? Really?
Má sao nghe câu chuyện nghe đát quá vậy ta.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. But whoever did this left no trace at all.
Tôi đã phải người đi khách sạn tìm manh mối rồi nha con.
That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as...
What? Why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Chắc là muốn giết người diệt khẩu luôn rồi.
You did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint.
Theo như
Does
Lilith
this
nói.
situation have to do with the primordial seawater
Này là
thing?
nội chiến. Tao nghĩ vậy.
Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's
Kiểu nó muốn lật
sensitivity
đổ ấy.
to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
Nếu không phải cư dân mà uống nước của sẽ nâng cao nhận thức về nguyên tố thủy.
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh.
Kể cái vụ mà mình lúc mà mình
It
bất
is
tỉnh.
important.
Nó cũng lạ ha.
Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene.
Ở hiện trường vụ
But he
án
never
đúng.
gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he
Đúng,
have
cũng chỉ
been
mới biết nước biển khơi nguyên là tan.
threatened?
Vậy là nếu anh ta còn sống
Yes,
chúng ta nên đi tìm anh
thank
ta.
you. This is very important information indeed. We will Oh! You mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you?
Demoiselle, do
Why,
try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations
Có chỗ
for
ngủ
you.
rồi. Có chỗ ngủ cho tối nay rồi. Đến căn cứ
We
con này.
also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
Hay bây giờ sao cái này bây giờ mình dừng cốt truyện ở đây xong rồi đợi khi nào con Corone nó được roll xong mình roll con Corone xong mình vô nhà con này ngủ. Mình ship luôn, mình ship hang này luôn cho lẹ. Đây nè, chắc đi lấy điện dịch chuyển cái đi ha. Mình đợi roll Corona xong mình vô mình ship, vô tận nhà mình ship luôn cho lẹ. Lạch thì mình dùng visa, mình visa mình ship 2 chỉ cho lẹ. Điện chuyển đâu ta? Thế là tối nay có chỗ ngủ rồi. Nhà dưới hầm mà.
it's right up ahead. But let's make sure we weren't followed first.
Căn cứ này cũng bảo mật đó, cũng không ai thấy đó. Cũng là không ai thấy rồi đó.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious.
Very good. But let's not let our guard...
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus.
Tưởng có mật
Now,
thất gì chứ.
let's continue, traveler.
Tính ra nhà trong thành phố Fontaine luôn mà kiểu không có người, không có ai theo dõi. Tưởng mật thất ở đâu nó ghê gớm lắm. Được xuống dưới hầm rồi nè. Đúng không? Cái này là cái hầm rồi đúng không? Yeah. Oh yeah. Cái hầm rồi nè. Cái này trong đại trailer. Cái này là cái khu trong đại trailer nè. Và đã nằm ngay dưới thành phố Fontaine luôn. Mình sẽ luôn Navia cũng phải gu mình. Mình không có gu tiểu thư lắm. Mình đi xuống hầm là nó sẽ ra bản đồ. Bản đồ ở bên này, cái bản đồ ở dưới hầm luôn nè. Nó tự ra luôn nè. Mình thấy là một bản cải tiến cũng ok á. Chứ đỡ bị mù á. Nó ok á chứ. Sao có rương vậy? Thường là trong mấy chỗ này có rương lắm. Không nè, không có rương à? Nghèo vậy. Có một cái điện di chuyển trên đầu. Tao nghĩ hay nhất thì nên bỏ luôn mấy cái icon mà điện dịch chuyển trên đầu này cũng bỏ luôn. Nếu mà đi xuống dưới hầm thì không nên để hiện ra. Hoặc là cũng để cũng được. Có rương ta. Không. Thường sẽ có mấy cái rương thường nó để trên góc. Có. Đây gì đây? Gì đây? Gì đây? Cái con que gì đây? Cái này là 10.000 tiền nè. 15.000 luôn hả? Mấy quốc gia này giàu hơn cả bên Ligue rồi. Ligue một cái đào được 10.000. Này được 15.000 luôn rồi. Để dịch chuyển từ quên điểm ngắm cảnh. Những điểm ngắm cảnh nó vẫn chưa, không biết nó đã hôm nay cập nhật chưa ta. Bản đồ tôi giá tay vát nè. Thế ra nó cập nhật trên web chậm hơn đó nha. Vẫn chưa thấy. Hình như hôm qua mình có bỏ tích cái đó không ta, mình tích mà đúng không nhờ.
Wait. Huh? No.
Đúng rồi. Mình chưa có, thôi mình cứ làm trước đi, xong mình sẽ đánh dấu lại. Mẹ, không đánh dấu được ngay cái xác chỗ này. Cái gì chứ? Dạ, nó có biểu tượng dưới hầm luôn. Cái bông hoa này sẽ có biểu tượng dưới hầm luôn. Hay à. Nên ra bản nhật này đẹp làm tốt nè. hầm này như kiểu cái cống ấy nhờ. Nói không đúng chứ giống như cái cống á, như cái cống của Fontaine nó thải xuống đây ấy, chứ đâu phải sông suối nước ngọt.
So, this is your base?
Khác biệt nhiều so với tưởng
Quite
tượng.
what Paimon
Paimon nó
imagined.
khinh bị rồi. Thì nó là cống thành phố. Mấy ở dưới này mùi chết.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present
Phòng vật nhất
circumstances,
của-
I can confidently say it's the best
vật
we
nhất
have.
luôn.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately.
Kinh phí có
After
hạn.
all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In
Ok,
fact,
không
our
có ăn
funds
cướp,
often
trộm
come
cắp
from
của ai được
citizenry
rồi.
who support us.
Không giao dịch trái phép là được.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his
Năng
equal.
lực kém cỏi hả? Để mình cho
Your
bạn ít nè.
father, he was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
Để
No,
tao đây.
I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, my father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the
Khalat
streets.
bất nghĩa. Để bạn tự đọc đi cho
3
giải thích
years
nó có
ago,
câu chuyện.
he was accused of murdering his own friend,
Hung thủ giết chết
but
bạn
he
của mình.
chose a duel to defend his
Nhưng ông ấy
honor
từ chối bị xét
instead
xử
of standing
và
trial.
cuối cùng bỏ mạng trong trận quyết
He
đấu.
died in the duelist ring.
Đúng rồi, vì tại ai mà từ chối xét xử á, thì sẽ phải chiến đấu với cái người kiểu được chọn ra mạnh nhất của Fontaine, xong rồi chắc là tự chọn.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Nó mất mẹ luôn.
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be... Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
Cốt truyện Genshin này thực tế.
Never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the
Đối
duel
tượng quyết đấu vậy là
was Miss Clorand.
vậy là con Karen là chính là người giết cha con này rồi. Vậy má chọn đây nổi da gà luôn á.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the
Cũng
honorable
có thể
nature
là
of
cha
the duel.
con này bắt con
If
Karen
her
đây phải giết
opponent
ông hay
doesn't
sao?
yield,
Kiểu ông muốn
she
che giấu
will
gì
not
đó
stop
nên
either.
kiểu muốn
She
chết luôn
knew
trong trận
Master
chiến.
Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he
Bây
was
giờ cô ấy quen
resolute
biết
in the
ngài cái đó, mình rất
arena,
tôn trọng ngài ấy kìa.
there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself to do that.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that
Khi
at the
trận đấu vừa bắt
start
đầu
of the
thì ngài
duel,
Calat đã nói
Master
con là
Callus
có thể nhờ cô ấy
requested
bảo
that she
vệ cho.
ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety.
Đó thấy chưa? Vậy là ông đó chắc muốn con Karen giết ông luôn rồi. Thấy chưa? Ông ấy đã có muốn bảo
Yes,
vệ.
that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. Thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest soundly.
Má khu ở trên của Fontaine thì hưng thịnh vãi, khu dưới này thì đúng tồi tàn luôn á. Nhà gỗ sập xệ. Thôi, nghỉ ngơi thôi, chúng ta tiếp tục ngày mai với lại đi tiếp nè.
Paimon slept so well. Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
Ồ, đêm không ngủ.
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Vậy mình nó ngủ ngon quá mà.
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One
Ê,
place in
tao
Fontaine
nghĩ á,
that they would find
tao đang
almost
nghĩ nha,
impossible
và
to
Jay
threaten,
chính là thằng
no matter
đứng sau
how
tất
much
cả.
they wanted to.
Và cái con mà bị giết bởi ở chỗ cái bể nước á, là con đó là vật thí nghiệm đầu tiên của thằng đó.
And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette, a place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some
thiếu được
related
mất tích gần đây luôn
information
à?
there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we?
Ê, có spoil skill của Neuvillette rồi á, cái ngài thẩm phán á.
Aren't you coming
Cái
along?
ta mới coi sao.
Did you get tired?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice.
Ok. Ở dưới này còn cái gì không? Ở dưới này lấy tiền dịch chuyển rồi, ok nè. Là nhiệm vụ là
The
cũng đi
palais
từ
is
từ vào
right
bếp.
up ahead. Come on.
Văn phòng thẩm phán tối cao. Ủa, không tự mở hả? Như Genshin là tự mở cửa mà. Chắc map rộng quá, lát không nổi. Có rương gì không? Xin rương đi. Má sao con vợ gặp thấy con này nó lùn quá. Con nhân vật chính lùn quá.
Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Thằng Phán đang làm việc.
This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's file.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you?
Who are you?
Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Anyone can tell. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the
Con này
exit.
cute quá nha.
Unlike some, we're busy. So
Giọng hay
please
quá.
leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is justice.
Thanks so much.
Nói chung là đi đến gặp ngài đó đi mà sẽ có lý do chính đáng. Làm đâu nhỉ? Đây.
Please come in.
Đồ ngài được ở trong cái phòng rộng quá vậy. Phòng này rộng như bằng phòng Minh Quang mẹ rồi.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
Mẹ con Paimon chưa cái
It's
gì mà nó
alright.
đá khai đâu rồi.
Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Má đẹp trai quá. Đẹp thật sự á. Quý tộc quá. Nhìn quý tộc quá.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
Ông này cũng hiểu.
And what are you trying to say? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only...
Nói chuyện nặng nề quá vậy. Sao con này nói chuyện nặng nề quá
It's
vậy?
just like last time.
Cha, tôi
After
có
my
bảo
father
chưa?
took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Tự nhiên không khí hết vui vẻ rồi.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right.
Vẽ này khóc đó hả?
Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
Vậy là cái truyền thuyết mà cái con rồng mà nó khóc là mưa thật đó, là cái con nó đang khóc thật hả Trang? Ông nó không phải khóc mà ông đang buồn đó.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
Chỉ có người có thể biến thành nước.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then got washed away with the rain? Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
Đúng rồi.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later?
Rồi giờ là đi luôn đúng không?
Great, let's go then.
Đi luôn đi. Chạy map sau. Mới đi lấy đồ về hả? Bạn đã bỏ qua một khúc cao trào rồi. Em có một khúc cao trào lắm. Một khúc con Navia nó trượt thẳng vào trong tầm phá. Ok, có cái thuyền hợp đồng. Ây da, ây da. Đâu rồi vậy? Đây. Ây da. Quay tua lại đi, hay lắm. Mình đi nhà thầy hợp đồng, mình chào bạn. Tua lại xíu. Thì nhập đầu đâu bạn? Ở trên đầu rồi. Trên đầu rồi. Hay lắm, khúc đó hay.
No.
Robot dây cót. Ồ, tội quá trời. Nếu mà đúng như ông đó là, nếu như ông đúng đó là Long ấy, Vương ấy, vậy ông nó buồn lắm á. Kiểu ông buồn cho anh xong buồn á. Kiểu ông nghiêm nghị này đâu ông buồn nó ra trận mưa luôn. Thôi chết rồi.
Whoa! What a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
Một con tàu hoa lệ tượng trưng cho hành trình.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past.
Tôi còn tưởng là đang chém
I
gió.
was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has
Với
seen
một tổ chức
this
sống trong
ship for
cống nước của
herself,
Paimon này.
she's been convinced.
Thì những mà rồi thuyết phục rồi.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
Quá thực sự Paimon à. Ta cho mày ăn học, chứ ta có cho mày ăn phát biểu lung tung như vậy đâu. Ủa? À đây. Ôi làm sao xuống đó ta? Anh lặn xuống mà. Ồ, được lặn rồi. Đây rồi. Mình quên mất. Ê, thôi không nên đi khám phá, từ từ á, đánh dấu cái đã. Được lặn rồi, má đã. Cái này. Ây da. Hơi bị phê nha. Cái cục ở đâu ta? Đây. Phê vãi. Bơi lên nè. Bơi xuống nè. À chỉ cần đi chuột theo thôi vậy mà. Xong rồi bơi nhanh nè. Cũng là chuột trái thôi. Bơi lên thì bấm cắt hoặc là chọn con chuột lên trên. À, phê vãi. Thôi chúng ta làm nhiệm vụ đi, làm đi 8 giờ sao? Nhiệm vụ mở mát cái này. Gặp Sumeru là kiểu giờ đang có mấy cái bông hoa để bay rồi.
Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Balus? On that night, it was raining.
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call imposters.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson.
Yeah, ngày phút này cái là nghe rất hay nha. Nhiều năm trước có một thứ mang tên Sinthe trở nên thịnh hành ở thế giới.
At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Người ta hưng phấn sản sinh nhiều ảo giác vui vẻ là cái loại thuốc đó nó pha loạn rồi đó.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and but then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh?
How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now.
Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is on that note, however. Even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as you're and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring... Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step...
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina de Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live up? I've never accepted that. ever. Not since that day. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, Demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take...
So you do know something else, Malus.
Ồ, ông này biết gì đó vậy?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances
Ồ,
case.
đã biết mối quan hệ rồi.
But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
Ồ, cô bị chọn làm mục tiêu. Nguyên nhân chính cho mâu thuẫn giữa hai bên bùng phát.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live, and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict, but once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared.
Right. So nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
Bây giờ ông này mới nói ra, vãi đi.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a
Không phải muốn
sword.
giao cho cô không phải chiếc dù mà là thanh kiếm. Nghe thấm ấy nhờ.
If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice, but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this move.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an
Trong
informant
tổ chức này
planted
còn có tay
here.
trong nữa, mẹ sao lắm tay trong thế?
When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down. First is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans, and there's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prop. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the
Kẻ
guards.
khả nghi nhất là thằng đầu tiên á, thằng mà biết rõ mọi thứ nhất ở trong tổ chức của mình á.
Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to... Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
Rồi, giờ lại đi tìm thám tử rồi. Ai da, dài quá nha, từ lúc 10 giờ đến giờ 40 phút hơn là chúng ta chỉ có đi lăn quanh nói chuyện thôi á. Má con thằng Melus, thằng ông đó là làm gián điệp thì hay quá. Nhưng mà phải có dẫn chứng á, kiểu phải đi sao mới ra được ông đó.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
Đúng. Sao nghe chồng tôi quên rồi?
Aren't all of those things nothing compared to the
Bây giờ
loss
đang
of
đi hối
Jacques?
tiếc cho cái thằng đã chết rồi đúng không? Tôi có...
I can understand.
You don't understand at all.
Đồ, căng thằng dậy, ai đeo căng thằng dậy.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
Sao con bé này giọng
I'm
cá tính
sorry.
vậy?
I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer
Có
already.
ít nhiều đáp án à.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Đoán trời ơi.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when even if he fired the shot that killed my husband. It was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like you're...
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword, he must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh,
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really...
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Má, cái cốt truyện này mà đứa nào mà chơi phiên bản mới muốn rớt cốt truyện cũng mệt đó nha. Rớt
are you okay
lâu
down
á,
here?
đâu có nhanh được.
I'm fine. Don't worry.
Nên nói hơi bị
Let's
nhiều á.
investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be
Điều tra ba
nearby,
đối tượng này.
and we should be able to find...
Má điều tra tận 3 đối tượng rồi.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guards said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene.
Súng của ngài Callas để trên bàn. Vậy là cái súng mà ngài Callas lúc cầm giết thằng đó là của cái thằng bị chết. là súng của Alat lúc mà cầm đó là thằng bị chết chứ không phải là của súng của ông Alat.
But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him.
Đúng.
The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of... He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed. I'll tell you everything.
I understand. Then, and if I may just say one more thing. The whole many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus. Even after, but it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula. And live no matter what others might say. He'll always...
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
Ông này không dạy nổi nó sơ hở gì lắm ta. Ông này mà có chứng cứ là lúc đi ra, ông Calat đi ra khỏi đó là ông Calat còn mang theo súng. Không có chứng cứ lắm á. Dịch chuyển về thành nè. Má skip cốt truyện này muốn khùng á, nếu mà muốn skip á.
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Nói chung là kiểu cũng đa nghi á, kiểu ông này cũng kiểu biết nhiều quá, ông nó cũng biết nhiều á.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for...
Yes. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case, and my father's...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, so I can promise you, Those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the... I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
Với lại cũng có ấy mà, cũng có chứng cứ mà. Ok. Đi tiếp nè. Cái điểm dịch chuyển bên này là ở đâu vậy ta? Tự tôi lấy cái điểm dịch chuyển bên này cái. Không có thi là ba đứa đều phạm tội thì sao? Ba đứa đều là tòng phạm thì sao? Cái thằng lính chính là người giao dịch mấy con robot đó cho thằng người giàu thì sao? Xong rồi thằng kia là người cung cấp thông tin cho hai thằng kia để cho biết được khi nào sơ hở. Cũng hay. Nói chung là để xem có chuyện bên mi chó làm sao.
Hello, how may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navi. Sure, I will let him know.
Marcel gấp gáp chạy đến à.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the opera.
Yes, I've never seen...
Oh, you were at the opera house.
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive.
Này là có hiện trường bị cái kịch ta? Hay là ông chính là thủ phạm đứng đằng sau mọi thứ nào muốn chứng kiến xem con nó có thành công hay không? Thì lại người ta thường hay nói là thủ phạm rất hay thường ở lại hiện trường.
To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a name.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're...
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that...
Oh, and what makes you...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamax. And there was also an attempt to... If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected...
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that... But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can... If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last moral.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however...
Kiểu ai cũng có sự nghi ngờ với ai cũng có sự trung thành đấy. Chưa biết được ai với ai. Navia sắp xếp manh mối nè. Rồi, bắt đầu đi suy luận nè.
We've talked to all three suspects.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Cũng bình thường và cũng khả nghi đó.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he... If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Giết Calat rồi thì ông ấy không cần phải chết. Đúng.
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a thief. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the sequel.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, but who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Ai có thể điều khiển robot hiến binh tư nhân? Ai đây? Ai đây Hiến? Ai đây? Ai da, ai đây? Marcel là cái ông đầu tiên đúng không? Cherry là cái thằng thứ hai, cái thằng kia. Florence là không, Marcel là ông cuối cùng. Florence là ông đầu tiên. À, sắp xếp theo thứ tự nè. Thứ nhất là Marcel là ông cuối cùng. Ai đây ta? Bắt đầu cho anh em ra. Nghe cũng hay. Nhưng mà ai cái này điều khiển được robot thì tao nghĩ chắc chỉ có thằng thứ hai thôi. Nhưng mà nó không đủ tiền. Thằng đó cũng nói rồi. Nếu mà điều khiển robot thì cũng không thể, bởi vì là robot nó tuân theo lệnh, cần có lệnh chính thống chứ không thể đi giết người được. Tao nghĩ là Marcel. Tao chọn Marcel.
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together, and with funds from the confrérie, he could also afford a large number of
Gardamex. Đủ mua được
Gardamex.
cái đó thì chỉ có con Marcel thôi.
Still really hard for me to imagine though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Vậy là chỉ thằng thứ hai thôi à ta? Terry à? Phải đâu chọn Terry đi.
Thierry, you say?
Thấy chưa?
It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha.
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha, if the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out.
Vậy là cuối cùng là thằng đầu tiên à? Vậy tao nói đúng à? Nghi nhất là cái thằng đầu tiên á.
Flora? It is true that he was closest to my father,
Người biết thân phận.
and thus had the best. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work most.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a
Không có
mecha
tiền.
army?
Exactly, he can't. And
Vậy cuối cùng là
could
ai?
it be?
Què. Con què. Em biết cháu con què. Là sao? Rồi là sao? Rồi là trong ba nghi phạm người có khả năng gây án nhất là Marcel đi. Người vừa có tiền. Có tiền thì có tất cả mà đúng không? Không được chọn ba thằng mà chọn một trong ba thằng. Một trong ba thằng. Tới có tiền là có tất cả. Giờ cho bạn chọn đó. Tao chỉ nghĩ là game này vậy thôi, cứ có tiền là có tất cả, có tiền là làm gì cũng được. Trong cái thằng lính nó không làm được nhiều đâu. Thằng lính nếu mà ví dụ nó mà sai một nhiều quân như vậy quá là bị biết đó mày. Đâu có ít đâu, nếu mà tính ra nó sai cả một đội quân luôn á. Mà nếu mà sai một đội quân mà con Rende không biết thì nó cũng hơi kỳ. Thằng này nè. Thấy không, chỉ có người giàu quá hả? Tao chọn ông thứ ba, tao sẽ chọn thứ ba nè.
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he
Cô có
narrowed
thể
it
là
down
quay
to
lại
these
cái câu
three,
của mày
did
là
he?
chính là cái ông quản gia á.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered.
Ông Melut á.
The suspect is knowledgeable about the
Không có thể
Spina's
ông Melut thì
internal
sao?
affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant...
Bởi vì
Even if I don't want to believe it,
tính ra là ông
I'm
Melut là
starting to see how things
là
could
người
all
có thể
tie
bỏ
back
thuốc
to
độc
Uncle
vào
Marcel.
2 cái ly, đúng không? Bởi vì ông gần nhất. Xong mà ông biết được vị trí con này ở đâu nên để xái được phái binh đi giết con này. Cũng đúng. Dù sao thì người đó cũng là...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we need far more solid proof before we can hope to go
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Thằng này đâu?
Aren't you the guy from the guard?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Đạo Erinet.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a
Tartaglia
Fatui harbinger
kìa.
called Tartaglia.
Đấy rồi nè. Đúng rồi, xong rồi. Tao thấy cảm giác là ông vừa mới khoanh vùng bán này, cái ông bỏ đi luôn. Nó cũng có thể. Thôi đi gặp cái chai đồ đi.
What? Is that...
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even...
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do
Tại
with
sao lại
him.
có nhắm vào pha tui ta? Tại sao cái người đứng sau thiếu nữ lại cứ sao có nhắm vào pha tui ta? Tao nghĩ thằng Chi đồ sẽ không đi giết người lung tung vậy đâu. Nó sẽ không bao giờ đi giết người như vậy. Thằng trai đồ nó một thằng không bao giờ đi giết người như vậy. Nó sẽ làm những thứ lớn lao như kiểu phá tan cả cái đồ của liên quân hay là triệu hồi mấy con, chứ nó không đi giết người vô cớ vậy đâu. Kiểu thích đi giết người vậy đâu. Với lại nó cũng mới qua bên frontend mà, sao qua lâu rồi. Nếu anh ta buộc tội vậy thì chúng ta có muốn điều tra vụ án đã khép lại thì có đội hiến binh cũng không cho phép nữa.
Right,
đúng.
because they'll think they've already...
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder than to clear Mr. Callis.
I understand.
Ta vẫn nghĩ như mày thì là ông quản gia á.
Split up? What do you mean?
Đúng, mình đi.
Just as expected of my
Rồi chia
partner.
hành động thôi.
Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be... You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in...
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
Ông kìa.
I'm ready.
Malus, Silver, when did you...
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require... It's our hope that your confidence...
Thank you so much.
See you then!
Xong rồi tao nghĩ ông ở cạnh đó nữa, kiểu là khi mà ông mà bị bại lộ ông giết con này luôn. Ông giết con này nhanh luôn.
We should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
Rồi, dưới hầm rồi. Ở dưới hang rồi.
Huh. According to Melusa's info, the synth production base is underwater.
Em vui quá ha. Ê, bạn thấy không? Bạn thấy
Let's
con
go try to
slam
find
không?
the entrance.
Vui vã. Nói chung là cũng có nhiều tình tiết quá. Cái con này không đánh được thôi, chúng ta đi lặn thôi. Đi lặn thế nào? Đẹp quá. Ồ, mấy con này con quái à? Ủa, nó đánh mình không? Ô, nó đánh mình nha, nó đánh mình nha. Sao định mình đánh nó vậy? Từ từ hướng dẫn cách chơi đi. Sức mạnh nguyên. Ây da, nó đánh mình được kìa. Ủa mày sao mà đánh như này bao giờ mới xong trời? Nó đánh 2.000 máu mỗi lần thì đánh bao giờ mới xong? Nặng quá vậy. Rồi đánh xong rồi cho cái gì? Ngọc Vũ Đại Dương à? Nghe cũng gì đấy. Đâu? Lối... Ồ, có cái rương này. Có nhiều thứ quá nha, nhiều thứ mới quá, từ từ nha. Cái rương này làm sao đây? Rương này phải cắt cái sợi dây này hả? Tìm nối vào tổng bộ. À, cái kia. Có kia. Có được cái
Finally found it.
Thủy Thanh Đồng.
So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all. Ah, you're right. And in Port Navia is probably arguing up a storm right now to stop.
Ngay lúc này bên trong việc mình chơi song song hai cốt truyện một lúc luôn nè.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even... However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clement, right?
Cho nên tôi chỉ cần nhận tội.
I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing... When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Đấm nhau đi.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with him. You... Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjection.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will...
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience. but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Ok.
Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would...
That person is...
Điệt, cả một ai sao giờ vẫn chọn à? Chọn cái này đi ta, ghi chép tình hình vụ án Calas. Má đĩ gió thì tao tưởng là hai cốt truyện song song rồi con nhân vật chính sẽ đi tìm người xong dẫn về chứ. Thôi chọn cái giờ ba người này vẫn chưa chắc á. Cái này. Có gì không đúng chọn lại. Vậy thôi Marcel đi. Vẫn cứ Marcel chứ đi, không được à.
Marcel, the head of confrérie of Cabriere.
Huh? What confrérie? Never.
I've heard of them, but...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime.
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel.
Rồi, chọn đúng rồi, thấy chưa? Có tiền là có tất cả.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require...
Apologies, sir. It all just... I think an attorney won't be necessary.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago. To the case of only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I... If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can...
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabriere.
Cái vị khách mời đang tổ chức. Ok.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, the suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries.
Okay.
These are the known facts about the...
Rồi, chuẩn bị lập luận nè.
The one with the motive to kill was in truth, the third... After that, the true culprit turned the third... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared... However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the ability...
Ok, rồi, bắt đầu. Của thằng kia bảo cây súng ở trên bàn. Mà giờ kêu không có cây súng nào khác. À, ý là cây súng ở trên bàn tiệc. Cái bàn tiệc á, lúc mà ông có đi ra khỏi bàn tiệc. Chứ không phải là cây súng mà đi ra ngoài nói chuyện với thằng kia nha. Hôm xảy ra sự việc. Từ từ. Cái này là đúng nè, cái sự việc đầu tiên là đúng nè. Trong bữa tiệc tất cả khách mời đều nghe thấy 2 tiếng súng bên ngoài, đều cho rằng lúc đó Calais có ý đồ sát hại để bị bắn chết, nhưng quan hệ với không á, mâu thuẫn là lời của con này đúng không ta? Đúng rồi, con này.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had...
Rồi, cái đầu tiên là bị phản bác rồi nè. Hiện trường Nhưng sau khi điều tra lại, có thể xác Callas hoàn toàn. Không mang súng, ô mang súng vậy là cái thằng này nè. Không đúng à. Tự coi. Khi mọi người chạy đến, nghi phạm Callas cầm súng trong tay, còn Jacques đến đến gặp ông ấy thì đã trúng đạn mà chết. Căn cứ theo kế điều tra hứa nghi phạm, nhưng khi điều tra lại có thể xác định Callas. Có người thứ ba là vụ cái này, đúng rồi, là nước biển khởi nguyên. Không đúng à. Đủ. Từ cái khác đi. Khó nha. Sau khi đội hiến binh điều tra hiện trường không phát hiện ra cây súng nào khác, nên cho rằng cái khúc này tất nhiên dùng cái súng đây. Không đúng luôn. Ây da hơi khó nha. Hôm xảy ra sự việc các khách mời. Cái này là đúng nè. Có người thứ ba, đúng rồi, có người thứ ba là phải dùng cái này như thế. À, trang phục của ai, đúng rồi. Cái trang phục, đúng rồi, cái trang phục, cái này nè. Đây, cái trang phục.
First shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callas, only for Callas to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
Đúng, cái này là đúng. Cái này là đúng. Người thứ ba bởi vì có bộ đồ áo. Cái này nữa thôi. Phát thứ hai đã bắn trúng cho quét. Cái phát đầu á. Cái này là ai rồi ta? Đâu? À, bởi vì là có người thứ ba nên là nước biển khởi nguyên không? Đúng rồi, nước biển khởi nguyên.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
Yeah.
Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callas was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Đúng, là cái người thứ ba muốn cái ông kia bị hòa tan và đổ mọi tội lỗi lên trên cho cha con này. Và trời mưa nữa. Cán cân nghiêng về. Phản bác thành công. Yeah.
Ah, so that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as
What a great theory. It also explains Callas's and Jacques' respective motives.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Tôi không nghe thấy nội dung nào đang chỉ tội trong đó.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we
primarily
need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least
Không có chứng cứ rồi.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing, we should be able to find a match.
Tìm kiếm hồ sơ của những người mất tích trong khoảng thời gian đó sẽ là có cái.
Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur
Đúng, nên điều tra, đây là điều tra.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing.
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described.
Nhưng đứng ở góc độ của thẩm phán thì nó cũng nghiêm túc suy luận lắm. Nó liên quan đến quyết đấu. Nếu như chân tướng đúng như những gì của.
Then why didn't Mr. Callas explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least thought about this too.
And the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret. My father could have exposed it for all. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered.
Đúng.
He had no
Nếu mà tiết lộ
guarantee
đâu ai
that
chắc
going
gì ai tin
forward
ông
with the
đâu.
what was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the...
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice?
Đúng,
Spina
nếu
di
như cho tôi
Rosula
kỳ vọng về
would
công
have
lý
had
thì
no
đã không
reason
lập
to
ra cái độ này
exist.
rồi. Sinbad di Rosa.
But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house.
So, you mean to say,
Cố tình
your
chọn con đường
father
chết,
in...
đúng.
That's
Cha
right.
nó cố tình chọn đường chết.
Do you have any proof?
Of course, all you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the Shadow. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about...
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Thấy chưa?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live, or if they're... I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child.
No need to appeal to pain.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the...
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson.
Dạy cháu một bài học à?
Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
Xin lỗi, đại tiểu thư là do tôi sa sút. Ây da, Melot ơi.
It's not your...
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Chuyện tới đây là đã có vụ án đó
Of my
rồi.
first business license
Là
against
hồi
the
xưa
first known
content nó
case
có vụ
of
án
the
rồi,
serial
ông mới chuyển tới,
disappearances?
là ông chuyển tới trước đó đã có rồi.
You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family could those records and testimonies do something to appease.
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely
Chết mẹ
accusing
rồi,
him.
báo rồi, báo tới à, ông nội Melot này báo.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of it. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and he wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious.
Ông Marcel này bởi vì tham quá nhiều tiền nên ông mới giúp tụi ấy không, cái tụi làm ra cái nước khởi nguyên á, bởi vì nên vậy giờ ông mới giàu.
Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearance, many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image do you... Is it a man named Vache?
Vache, yeah.
Oh, so you do...
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly see...
I was waiting for you to say that.
Đủ. Ông giật mình kìa, ông nghe tiếng đó ông giật mình kìa. Sao tao vô đâu à? Rồi chỗ này là không được đi ra rồi, chỗ này là map riêng của cốt truyện. Map riêng. Có rule gì không? Chắc không.
Emerge, right here. Hey! Share my knowledge! Out of my way!
Nhanh đi ha, mình chưa cốt truyện, nhanh đi.
The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Đây là mình đang ở trong cái chỗ của tụi nó đúng không?
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Đường đi đâu ta? Làm sao? Làm sao để hấp thụ năng lực? Rồi ok, hấp thụ năng lực của một con cua đó, xong rồi bắn nó mới mạnh hơn nè. Là sao? Là sao chưa? Rồi sao? Là sao vậy? Là sao chứ? Xong rồi sao? Nó còn què. Nút E, có cái E. Tụi mẹ. Nhiều cơ chế mới quá nha. Ông nói đó chỉ là người ta sai thôi, tao nghĩ cái đường nước sau tất cả chỉ có là chứ có hết rồi thì làm content chơi nữa. Nước dâng lên. Ok, hay nè. Vậy là mỗi lần mà tụi nó vô đây tụi nó phải nâng nước như vậy hả?
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Right now. Emerge. Right now.
Everyone hold hands.
Our bond is strong.
xíu ta đi lấy đồ đó.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
Chưa. Má cứ mỗi lần vô căn cứ tụi nó phải làm như vậy ở đây. Mất công.
Emerge. Hey! The Temple of Wisdom! Lightning, purify! Dissipate! After all that, though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's...
Ủa? Rồi đi vô đi về thôi á hả?
Let's see what's written here. Nothing is... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report. Yep. It's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Okay.
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization.
Chưa điều tra ra. Tình báo quan trọng mà có lát hơn.
The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Nào. Manh mối về Calas tìm được trên cảnh sát. Chủ mưu phía sau thông. Nó phái người thứ ba nè. Đây là bảo Calas phải chết. À, không tin thằng chắc quét này ra tay nữa chứ. Ok. Vậy là đây là thông tin có người thứ ba nè. Tiếp coi.
What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things, huh? You mean the girls from the and then they were and all the boxes of things, these names.
Đồ vật của những người mất tích kìa. Ok.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea.
Trong nước biển khởi nguyên chưa có ai nổi
Female
lên.
specimens 22, 23, and 20.
Biết ngay mà. Là bài thí nghiệm.
Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's how can someone write something that terrible and you read the rest? Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just
Vây trò kìa.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he
Thấy
was
chưa,
an
vây trò
eyewitness
chính là
in the
người
serial
đứng
disappearances
sau á.
case.
Vây trò cái bà vợ đầu tiên chính là người thí nghiệm đầu tiên á.
You mean Vache is the one who did all of these
Thấy chưa?
experiments? So that's it. Vache was no victim, but personally took his lover and...
Thấy chưa, vây trò. Má, suy đoán hay không? Mà chính là người đã hạ tan người yêu mình kìa.
That's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water? In any case...
Ai da. Má, đánh hay như thần. Hay như thần.
Whoa. There's so much synth here. And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea. Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Huh. They've also got all the synth pretty clearly labeled. Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's super.
Hello.
Oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this encrypt.
Hồ nước biển khởi nguyên à.
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were... Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is, that way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing.
Manh mối liên quan đến vây trò. Ồ, quan sát hết rồi mà ta. Chỗ này không? Hết rồi. Đi ra ngoài hả ta? Không đủ, đi ra ngoài mất.
You take that side, and Paimon will take this side.
Vậy là khu đồ rồi.
Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see.
Cuốn sổ.
Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story.
Gì vậy?
So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crap. The final name she did... Marcel!
Marcel.
Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son?
Đúng.
Hey!
Marcel chính là
Paimon
con
still hasn't figured
trai
it out yet.
của hai người đó à. Ồ mà sao được ta? Bà đó chết rồi mà. Một trang trong đó có chuẩn bị rất nhiều. Ồ. Wow. Vậy là ủa nhưng mà ông Marcel là ông đến từ nơi khác mà ta.
Image do you see?
Từ từ nha, ông Marcel là ông từ nơi khác đến Fontaine mà. Ông đâu phải là Fontaine đâu.
Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, I was...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my...
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
Kiểu phi phạm trật tự thế này còn phải lặp lại bao nhiêu lần nữa đây kìa. Ông thẩm phán Navia, ông cũng bực rồi.
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found...
Ông Navia ông bực à? Ông nói ông không quen biết vây chờ sao? Đây. Chọn cái này đi ha. Chính là cái này.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Vì ông chính là ma vây chờ. What the fuck? Hả? 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 Gì? Gì vậy?
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything. After your lover, Veneer, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you.
Ông đã không ngờ bắt thiếu nữ để tiến hành thí nghiệm.
You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
Tiêu hủy hết mọi thứ tên là vây chờ. Để ra thật sự mà là Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that. And with that, Marcel's motive has now...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your pride. Well, Marcel, do you know... You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew.
You also never understood Boss's real expectation.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me.
Vậy chắc là vợ ông lỡ uống á. Chắc là vợ ông lỡ uống cái nước đó.
They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Your beloved drama, Veneer, is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Tao gọi là người Fontaine, tao không hòa tan được.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
Đúng.
I can't dissolve. Can't do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus, I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to say Veneer. Please, Veneer. Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearance. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vache, and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Veneer. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to cover his tracks. He invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poissy. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, after exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president, Callus. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse, guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher.
Yeah.
Good. It's what he did.
With that, the serial disappeared.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the
Yippee! We have He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolute...
The day our late boss had always hoped for is finally...
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, passed on. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over...
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia, the guilty party, has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose we now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, guilty.
What the fuck? Cô máy phán quyết, cô phán Tartaglia có tội.
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned to...
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is, by law, the final verdict of the guards. Please take the sus...
Đi. Đây rồi.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Hay nè. Mọi người được coi rồi nhưng mà tao nghĩ là vẫn coi. Hay quá. giác.
He's activating his spell legacy!
Mất hứng thật sự.
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Bị chày mẹ, anh bị chày. Anh bị chày mẹ. Còn anh trai bị chày. Như kiểu đang gồng thì biến hình rồi.
What's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the Oratrice's judgment, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Thôi giờ có thể hỏi chị
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do. I don't know what happened there either.
Lại tẩu hài
Hey,
đó.
stop staring at me!
Staring at me. Rồi nó có kìa. Nghe cái giọng nó có kìa.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort of random mishap? Don't tell me you thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and excitement. And, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of
Đó chẳng qua là vì quý vị bị ảo ảnh hư vô che mờ đôi mắt. Nghe chưa? Đó chẳng qua là vì ảo ảnh hư vô che mờ đôi mắt.
Everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable.
Hay quá, Kỳ Thành hay quá. Giọng Kỳ Thành hay á, giọng Kỳ Thành kiểu có nhập tâm á, người lồng tiếng có nhập tâm á, nhưng mà nó buồn cười.
All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the Oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my lead.
Chua rồi, Tùy Thanh chua rồi. Chua rồi, vì Đạo Thanh chua, Tùy Thanh chua.
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Ok. Chắc là cũng xong cốt truyện rồi đó. Mà còn chưa được qua đây nè, có khi là cốt truyện còn qua đây luôn á. Thôi, 12 giờ rồi. Chúng nghỉ ngơi đi ha. Nghỉ ngơi đi, chiều tiếp. Chiều chúng ta chơi tiếp. Bye bye. Chiều chúng ta gặp lại. Chiều chúng ta tiếp tục cuộc hành trình. Còn dài mà. Còn quá trời sự kiện luôn. Cốt truyện phải sao rồi? Ok. Rồi chiều chúng ta tiếp tục. Hay á, cốt truyện này hay á, đang càng càng thấy hay á. Thôi mình dừng stream nha. Đi ăn đi, nghỉ ngơi. Chiều tầm 2 giờ gì đó mình quay lại. Bye bye.